Game Nashville Sports Network, ESPN 94.9, The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Welcome into the George Plaster Show. No George today. He is out on vacation, so we got the inmates running the asylum, if you will. Today we've got myself, Hugh Greenfield. We'll have a cast of thousands here with us, and we'll talk all things college football. Talk a little MLB draft. We've got some Wimbledon going on as well. So we're here to talk about everything with you. We'd love to take some of your calls a little bit later today as well. We'll open those up later in the show. We'll also preview SEC Media Days. We will be in Atlanta next week, Hugh and myself, that is. So we'll be getting all those interviews and having a blast down there. So it's going to be a big time nonetheless. All right, let's check out with intern Hugh, what he's got going on. Hugh, what's going on?
How's it going? I'm glad to officially make my debut on video.
Oh yeah, this is your debut on video. I forgot about
I don't know. I don't know about your screen, but on mine I'm a little staticky. But if it's good on your end, it's good on mine. Yeah,
we're good so far. Hopefully we don't have any issues, and if we do, they're not too big today. But we do have, like I said, we got a lot to get to. I mean, today is, still the dog days of summer. We had Wimbledon going on earlier today. We've got MLB draft to talk about. We're going to talk some college football with Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews. He's got, in my opinion, the best magazine out there for college football fans. So we're going to break down his magazine. We'll talk some local teams like Vanderbilt and Tennessee. We'll get into a little bit of the SEC as well. But as George would say, Hugh, do you have any substance in today's update?
We got a good little bit running through some MLB mock drafts, top 10, some NBA, Summer League, and some Wimbledon. So we'll get to that. The update is brought to you by X Golf. Step into the future of golf with X Golf. Experience the world's most accurate golf simulators and elevate your game like never before. Book your tee time now at playxgolf.com. Toast to great shots and great times at X Golf. Check out their new location at 209 South Royal Oaks in Franklin. All right, so earlier today, Carlos Alcaraz handles Taylor Fritz, bringing him to the Wimbledon finals. And then right after that, Jannik Sinner beats Novak Djokovic to head to the finals. So that will be a rematch of the French Open at Roland Garros, where Alcaraz beat Sinner in a 5-set cinematic masterpiece.
That was unbelievable. And Hugh, you're more of a tennis guy than I am. And I mean, you can watch Wimbledon without being a tennis person, but you watch tennis outside of just Wimbledon. For anybody that didn't see that Sinner Alcaraz match, take us through that. The last time those two met.
So it was a little over a 5-hour match. It was one of the best matches I've ever seen. And it was Sinner was up 2-0, and he had 3 points, 3 championship points in a row on Alcaraz's serve in the third set. Alcaraz proceeds to win that game, fight all the way back from love 40, and then he continues to break Sinner the next game when he's serving, and then wins the third set, and then proceeds to win the next 2, making it a 5-set match.
And that's the championship rematch that we're going to get in Wimbledon.
That was the last time they met. And fun fact, Carlos Alcaraz is currently 5-0 in Grand Slam finals, which is pretty unheard of, especially to do what he's been doing at such a young age. I believe he's 22.
Gosh, I was talking to somebody earlier today while I was watching. Sinner and Alcaraz are both so young, and the the next wave of, and this happens in every sport, the next wave of NFL quarterbacks is already here, and you've got the old guard out of the way. I guess Joe Flacco's still hanging around, but it happens so quick with the young wave of players, and that's what Center and Alcaraz are doing. And for anybody that hasn't been watching Wimbledon, I know people are probably listening to us right now saying they're talking tennis. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
It really is. It's entertaining because Alcaraz and Center are the two best players in the world right now. Wimbledon is the Masters. It's the Super Bowl of tennis. I enjoy it. And I mean, to be honest, it's really it's the biggest sporting event going on right now, not to mention it's on ESPN, but I know we've got some MLB Summer League going on, but to me, I really enjoy watching it, and man, it's going to be fun to see what goes down in that match.
Yeah, I really enjoy watching, especially Wimbledon. But the only downside is that since it's in London, the games are played at 7:30 and 9:30, and 9:30 is not too bad, but there's some games that are a little too early for me, but we'll keep it rolling. Toronto Raptors forward Brandon Ingram has been cleared for contact after a left ankle injury. Sources say he's entirely pain-free, which will be good for the Raptors.
That's good. Yeah, we know about him at Duke. Hasn't had the best NBA career, but you're hearing about all these contracts and all the money these players are making. Hopefully Brandon Ingram, gets his fair share, but man, he just hasn't been able to stay healthy. Yeah,
it's been tough to watch for sure. But in the Summer League last night, Cooper Flagg debuted against Bronny, and it was a great game, but Flagg did not have his best stuff. He went 5 for 12 from the field and 0 for 5 from deep in 32 minutes. So
guess how much tickets were going for that game?
Yeah, I saw what was it? I saw a stat. It was like, I think they were like 2,500 for courtside seats for a Summer League game.
You got it. I was gonna say 1,000 just for just for one of the normal first row of stand seats, which is ridiculous. But I mean, the way they were touting it was a little ridiculous. I mean, we know about Cooper Flagg, but they were touting it as if Cooper Flagg was facing off against
LeBron,
another first round pick. Yeah, LeBron. So look, it's the Summer League. It's Vegas. It's Bronny James. That happened. But $2,500 for a Summer League game is unbelievable.
Even if I had that kind of money, I would not. I would not spend it on that.
You couldn't pay me to get. I mean, Summer League.
No.
I was watching some of it last night. So Spurs and the Sixers. The game was over in the first quarter. I mean, it's as close to an unwatchable product. And I say that. Look, there are some players like a Flagg you get to watch, and if your college team has some players there, you may watch. But
of course,
I'm not even sitting and watching an entire Summer League game on TV. So
yeah, absolutely not. At least for me. But and then moving on to the MLB, we got new MLB mock draft has LSU lefty pitcher Cade Anderson going 1-1 to the Nationals. And then following that, you got SEC Pitcher of the Year, Liam Doyle to the Angels at 2. And then there's a right-handed pitcher Seth Hernandez to the Mariners.
He's actually committed to Vandy, but he'll be signing in the big leagues.
Yeah, one would assume. And then fourth. They got Ethan Holiday, the third baseman, to the Rockies, which I was reading some things, and it seemed like he could get taken at 1 by the Nationals, but if he doesn't go 1 to the Nationals, he'll likely fall 4th to the Rockies.
Okay. Yeah, with the draft being pushed back, a month or so, maybe 2 months, basically, coaches still aren't happy about it at the college level, and I'm sure there's some players not happy about it because you got to go through the portal. It's probably not a good time to have the MLB draft. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to sit and definitely watch it on Sunday night. But what's something we're going to get into a little bit later at 4:00 with one of your buddies, Mikey Ebner, pitcher for the USC Trojans, and Alex Kranzler, actually Vanderbilt pitcher as well, who's been interning with us the last couple of weeks. We're going to get those guys on, and I just want to hammer down how difficult it is with the timeline. If you are a draft eligible player, and maybe it's gotten a little bit easier because the draft used to be super regional time, which is, I mean, that was asinine. You know, we all remember Dansby Swanson after the Illinois Super Regional. Vandy advances to Omaha. He's watching on a phone that he just got drafted #1 overall right after the game. Like that shouldn't be happening. No. But now that you've moved it back, how much has that helped? How does the college game feel about that? But also their experience on the Cape. I mean, you've worked on the Cape, Hugh. Yeah. Both Mikey and Alex have played on the Cape. So I want to get into that a little bit at the 4:00 segment as well to dive into what that's like and what the college game, how it's changed for them. And because Mikey's a guy that's been there 3 years, right?
Yeah, this was his 3rd year. He had Tommy John earlier this year, but he's coming back. He's recovering. So yeah, I'll be interested to talk to him about that.
Yeah, same for Alex. He's been at Vandy, I want to say, for 3 years. So we'll talk a little bit about the draft, where it's situated, talk about the college game at the top of the hour. So that'll be good.
Yeah. One thing I was noticing when I was looking at the mock drafts, it was pretty surprising. There were 7 high school players set to be taken in the top 15 and 4 in the top 10. I'm not sure that I've ever seen this many high schoolers be this high up in the draft.
I was going to bring this up yesterday with Danny. I didn't get a chance to. Kelly was hogging the mic. But I saw a tweet from a very reliable source. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Joe Doyle, Hugh. He is he does a lot of scouting, and he posts a lot of it on Twitter. I think he actually has a paid site where he'll rank players and scout them and evaluate them at the college baseball level. He put a tweet out a couple of days ago saying a common narrative coming out of front offices right now is that teams are expected to be able to sign many more $500,000 to $750,000 high schoolers this year. So, much more than they'd used to, which is a little surprising because, you've got some college teams that they may not be paying that much money, but
yeah,
LSU, I mean, I would love to know how much Paul Skeens made. I'd love to know how much they paid Kate Anderson to stay on another year and things like that. Other draft eligible guys, it's not 500,000, might be 200,000, but 300,000. But that might be part of what you're saying, that you're surprised that a lot of high school kids are going straight to the pros. Well, agents are apparently doing a better job now explaining the risks for freshmen in college baseball. So I don't like that for the college game. I know you like watching college baseball as well.
Yeah,
but that's something to keep an eye on in the draft, which would be Sunday night.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested to see what Kate Anderson's NIL package looked like compared to Paul Skeens, because obviously I think we can all agree on that Skeens was significantly better, but however, I think that NIL might be a little more prominent now than when it was a couple of years ago when he was in college, and they might be forking over a little bit more money.
Yeah.
Just generally speaking.
Yeah. Especially now that it's 2 years since Paul Skeens. I mean, money changes every year.
So, but maybe I'll look into that on my own time.
Yeah. And Danny, I mean, look, whenever Danny comes on, I've got 1,000 things in my mind. So I wanted to ask him that about, does he know if that's changed with high school kids?
Yeah.
They're more willing to go to the pros as opposed to maybe waiting their turn. I mean, because look, that's a tough decision for a guy that Vandy has a couple of players. They've got a kid named Slater DeBrun, who is, I think, the number 24th ranked prospect. They've got another player, Sean Gamble, who's the number 29th ranked prospect in MLB pipeline. They're sort of on the border there. They could be a late first rounder, early second, but if they fall back, does that make them think about college? So it's a tough decision for these kids.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm of the opinion that even if you follow the second round, it's your ticket in, and if you get hurt, that you won't see that money, and you might not get the chance regardless. And you know, you never know what's going to happen. You have a year from now until then if you choose to stay. And so I would just say take your ticket to the league. And I get why people go back, but I also think that if you've played in college for 3 years, I think that you don't need to prove much more. If you're a second round pick, that's still incredibly impressive. But
yeah,
I think
if you put your time in college, you know, and that could be 2 years, most guys are going to leave, especially even if they're, you know, a third round slot guy, right? If they've put their time in and gotten their innings, you know, because a lot of times if you do come back, you lose a lot of value, you know,
absolutely.
Even if you do improve the next year, you know, the longer you wait, the older you get. It's the same thing with the NBA. That's why Dalton Knecht, you know, was taken 17th overall, I think, last year. The older you get, you're sort of hurting your value, whether that's fair or not. Yeah,
I mean, you saw SEC Player of the Year, Janai Broom. He
played last night.
Did he?
Yeah, he was playing for the was it the Sixers? Was he? I think it was the Sixers. He fell a little bit though. I forget where he got drafted, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure he was drafted in the second round, I believe.
Yeah, I think he was
35th overall to the Sixers.
Early second. Yeah. So I don't think the 24-inch vertical helped either.
Yeah, I would put money that it didn't.
Is that all we got?
Yeah, that concludes the update.
Well, good stuff, Hugh. George would. I'm not. You know, I think you're probably happy that there's no Kelly, and George always has something snarky too after these updates. But I thought that's a pretty good update.
Thank you. Last time I was on, George would look at me and be like, "Are your pits sweating yet?" And I'm like, that doesn't help.
Yeah, George likes to put the pressure on, but
yeah, he does. But it was all right. But I'm definitely happy that I'm not having Kelly throw jabs at me.
Yeah, that's not the most fun thing in the world. But
yeah, but it is entertaining.
Christian on YouTube, thanks you, killing it as always. We've got we got another.
Watching.
We'd love to see more of you. Well, you're seeing them.
Yeah, I don't know how these are my friends. I don't know. I didn't even tell them I was coming on. So
all your friends are hammering the chat right now.
I wish I could see it, but
Brendan says great points, you.
Thanks. I seriously have no idea how they know that I'm doing this. This is news to me.
That's awesome. Well, I'll give you a grade later for the update. So stay
sweet.
All right, coming up, Brett Ciancia. He covers college football, writes about it all year long for Pick Six Previews. I think it's the best magazine out there. We're going to talk to him about Vanderbilt, Tennessee, maybe a little Notre Dame, a little SEC. We're talking college football coming up next right here on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donley Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donley have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to donleytimmons.com.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
Process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
Can't watch the race? We got you.
I can't believe it!
NASCAR lives on the Game Nashville Sports Network. Whether it's 102.5 The Game, 94.9 The Fan, or Sports Talk 830, you can hear it all. Just check theGameNashville.com for the full schedule. NASCAR lives here. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We are back talking a little college football with Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews here on 94.9 The Fan alongside Hugh Greenfield. I am Billy Derrick. I am in Knoxville. Hugh back home in Nashville. A quick shout out to Tony Basilio for setting me up here in his studio. It's pretty cool looking in here. Maybe I'll give you guys a little panorama of what it looks like in here. It's pretty awesome. But we are talking college football with Mr. Brett Ciancia, who is on the line with us now. Brett, how you doing?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. It's a crazy time of year for me with the Preview magazine releasing tomorrow. But really excited to get this 2025 edition to the finish line and shipped out there, and excited to break it down with you guys today.
Yeah, I already got it. I got Hugh on it. That's been my task today. He's gonna get a copy of it as well. But Brett, tell me about what a year looks like, because this is not just a few month process where you do a little research and you put a magazine together. Tell our listeners how long you've been doing the magazine, how you got into this business, and what really it looks like putting it all together.
Yeah, well, first off, thanks for supporting and getting the magazine. It's great to hear. Great to hear it made its way down to Tennessee. I launched this back in 2012, and growing up, I love college football, and I always loved reading the Preview magazines. I think that product itself is everlasting. People love bringing the hard copy to the beach, to the lake, having it there on Saturday mornings next to your TV. So I love the idea of the Preview product, but as the years went on, I kind of got tired of what was out there in the market. I wanted to make my own. I wanted to take good bits and pieces from other magazines and really make it my own. So I launched Pick Six Previews. It's a one-man operation. I do all 68 Power 5 teams, talking to head coaches, talking to coordinators, I'm also a numbers guy, so I have my advanced stats in there. But the key is I put it back into a readable format. It's sometimes getting too much numbers and too many abbreviations is a tough read. So I try to make it, well written, and the narrative and coaching schemes and player personnel for all these teams. So kind of a well-rounded product. But the claim to fame is that it's number one in accuracy prediction accuracy the last 10 years and the last 5 years. So, if they're keeping score, I want to win this thing. So that's been the driving force behind it. And so here we are, the 14th year, Pick Six Previews. I really appreciate all the support and for having me on.
What I think separates your product is the mix between plenty of analytics, but there's some opinions in there, and there's some analysis and some really good insight. It's almost like combining maybe a Bill Conley and a Kirk Herbstreit. That's how I think of it, because I like that mix. I think most people do as well. How would you describe your approach to putting a magazine together? Because I read through it, and man, I mean, I can learn as much as I want to learn about really every team.
Yeah, well, it's a 365-day process. I mean, once the confetti falls on the national title stage, it's really go time. I mean, I like to say it starts during the fall before, too, because on Saturdays in the fall, I have my 4 TVs on for 14 hours, really from noon till 2 a.m. with the West Coast wrapping up. So I'm absorbing as much as I can on Saturdays, game recaps, condensed games throughout the week. But then, the off season is really where the research happens, talking to head coaches and coordinators, a lot of local media, because they're right on the scenes there at spring practice and doing practice reports and some video. Spring games, they used to be big, and now they're trying to take that away from us. So that's one angle that's gone. But and then recruiting rankings, transfer rankings. But here's the thing: it's gotten a lot more complex the last couple of years because of the transfer portal. So what I do now, I mean, I really dig in position group by position group. You got to go that granular to really get the whole picture. So, I mean, I'll dive into Tennessee's receiving core and see who transferred out, who transferred in, why, where were they at the school before, were they all conference guys, were they backups? It's just almost endless, but that's why I need a whole year to produce the one product. So, I just try and make it as exhaustive and as complex and detailed as possible, but then also give you the narrative of the program. I think at the beginning of each page, you can see, a little bit of a storyline too, not just right into the details.
You mentioned the portal. Being in Nashville last season was a blast for Vanderbilt fans everywhere, seeing what Diego Pavia did to get Vanderbilt to a bowl, but also win the bowl game. No one's ever going to forget the win over Alabama. Brett, I haven't read it. Obviously, the magazine's not out yet. I'm looking forward to your preview of Vanderbilt. How are you looking at year 2 of Pavia, Stowers, Jerry Kill, and company with another tough schedule entering 2025?
Yeah, well, Clark Lee really turned the program around there last year and made some drastic moves. He went out to really import the whole New Mexico State staff and the quarterback and the tight end, all the guys you mentioned, and it clicked. And I think that was probably the best win in school history. Tore those goalposts down and threw them in the river. A really cool scene there at Vanderbilt. And I felt good for the guy, an alum, and really loves this program. Fast forwarding to 2025, I think it's going to be tough to match. I know they return a lot of production. I think they're number 1 in the SEC and starters back and production back. But this conference is so competitive, as you guys know. It's 5 stars at every other program. So I think they're going to be towards the bottom or middle tier of the conference this year. Now, right as I write that and right as I say that, I tell you, Diego Pavia, he likes to prove people wrong. And he did so last year, and I could see him pulling off some Manziel-type games again this year. But, you look at this conference, it's so stacked top to bottom. I have them slated towards the bottom tier.
Let's go to Tennessee. The Vols, obviously, last season, led by Josh Heupel and Nico Iamaleava. He goes off to UCLA, really the first ever trade in the NIL portal era with Nico and Joey Aguilar coming over to Knoxville. What are your expectations for Tennessee, and can Joey Aguilar lead them to the playoff? Because, look, this schedule, this isn't a Vanderbilt-type schedule. This is one of the easier schedules in the conference. Is Joey Aguilar legit?
Well, we're going to learn a lot about him making the step up from the Sun Belt to the SEC. I think that's a major transition. He played pretty well at App State, got a lot of yards and touchdowns, also threw a lot of picks. So it was really boom or bust there in the Sun Belt. Don't know how it'll translate, but I think the other position groups of Tennessee, especially defensively, are going to keep them in the mix in the top 25. They earned a top 25 preseason ranking again by me. And that's what really carried them to the playoff last year was their defense. Defensive line was one of the best in the country. Overall defense, one of the best in the country. And you bring a lot of that back. And you know what they did last year? They rotated a lot of defensive linemen. So even though they lose James Pierce to the pros, all these other guys have gotten so many reps, multiple all-SEC guys in that front four and front seven. So I really like their defense enough to carry them, into the playoff race, SEC race. You look at it, too, they drew the four easiest teams in the SEC, the four at the bottom. The only team in the conference to pull that kind of schedule. So you're right about the schedule luck. That always goes a long way. I do have a question with Aguilar, their quarterback. Offensive line, they lose four starters as well. So a little bit of a restart there. And plus you're losing the SEC Player of the Year at running back. So I do have questions offensively, and that might limit their ceiling on making an 11 or 10 win push. But I at least see 8 wins, and I think they're going to be in the mix.
Keeping it here with Tennessee, looking at their schedule, to me, the Oklahoma game, Brett, is a huge game for them because right now, you've got the Georgia game there in week 3. Obviously, you've got to go to Alabama. You got a late season trip to Florida, which that game's usually a lot earlier. To me, the Oklahoma game is a big swing game for Tennessee. Syracuse, they should win that game. At Mississippi State, we've talked about the schedule. If they can win that Oklahoma game, would you agree that maybe that catapults them to a 9-win season, which potentially puts them on the bubble of the playoff?
Yeah, because that's the whole math now. A couple years back, talking 14 playoff, you really had to be perfect or one-loss conference champion. So now that you're at 12 and you're in the SEC, I think it's a pretty safe bet that 4 teams from the SEC are going to make it most years. So how do you get into that top 4? And usually 9-3 is good enough. 10-2 is definitely good enough. So how do you get there? So, yeah, I like those 4 games against the bottom 4 of the conference, Mississippi State, Vandy, Arkansas, Kentucky. I think those are all locks. You could lock that in right now. I would chalk up the Georgia and Bama as losses right now, just, as a preseason forecast here in July. So the 2 swings I see are Oklahoma and Florida. Both of those teams I have vastly improved from last year. I think that they're going to get better quarterback play than they had last year. In the case of Oklahoma, it's a great offensive scheme they're installing. In the case of Florida, it's a lot of returning starters. So those 2 are going to swing it. You go 1-1 there, you're probably 9-3 and in the mix.
You mentioned the SEC, the rest of the league there. You look at Texas, they're obviously going to be the favorite, at least one of the teams to win the SEC this year. LSU will be improved. We know who Alabama has coming back, all the talent at receiver and that defense. How do you stack up the SEC in terms of a tier system? Because, man, it's going to be another year where the middle we know is going to eat itself alive, and only the toughest survive. But how do you look at the SEC as a whole this season?
Yeah, well, I think it's the most talent-rich conference. I think it's packed with great teams, and it's a shame they all have to play each other because looking at my preseason board here, I have 10 SEC teams in the top 20, but it's just not going to shake out that way because they all have to beat each other up. But power ratings-wise, it's 10 out of the top 20. I see 3 real league contenders at the top. I have Texas, Bama, Georgia. I mean, it's a little bit chalk, but it's chalk for a reason because they bring in 5 stars every single year at every position group. They have a lot to like. So those are the 3 contenders. From there, LSU is in the mix, and A&M brings that back a lot of starters, gets a second-year bonus from Coach Elko. I love their lines of scrimmage. That's my top 5 right there. Then you have a big pack in the middle, guys, of teams that could surge up to the top pack or fall to a losing record. And you have Florida and Oklahoma in there, Ole Miss reloading from the portal, Tennessee we touched on, Auburn, South Carolina. It's such a deep conference, guys. That all those teams could contend, but then a lot of them are going to fall under 500 just by the math of it.
All right, last thing for me, I'll toss it to Hugh. Notre Dame obviously made the national title last season unexpectedly. What a job Marcus Freeman was able to do. They get Jeremiah Love back, but no Riley Leonard. And to me, that's a very tough player to replace if you're Notre Dame, but they still got a ton of talent on that team. Freeman's been recruiting his butt off. How do you look at Notre Dame this season? They do have a tough schedule, but again, they're in a nice situation not being in a conference that gives them a little bit of an advantage for the playoff, Brett.
Yeah, and right before this call, I just published the recruiting page in my book. It looks at the 5-year recruiting average, and Notre Dame shocked me how high they surged the last couple of years. They're now 7th in the country, looking at 5-year recruiting average. That was never the case under Brian Kelly. They were always top 15 area, but never top 5, top 7. So they're reloading. I know they lose their quarterback, but the rest of this team is packed with talent, and even a quarterback. I know Riley Leonard was a great runner and a great competitor, but you have CJ Carr coming in, a 5-star arm. I think they're going to be fine there. Best running back in the country, arguably, with Jeremiah Love. My number 1 offensive line in the country. And then on defense, it's packed again with All-American candidates. So I think they'll be right there back in the playoff. They're an at-large pick for me. And it's going to come down to 3 games. Miami in the opener, Texas A&M, and USC. If they go 2-1 out of those 3, they're a lock at 11-1. And of course, that's barring any Northern Illinois upset like last year. But I think they're going to make it at 11-1 this year and go 2-1 in that trio.
Hugh, what you got for Brett?
I just got a couple questions for you. The first one being, do you think we're headed toward a Power 2 structure with the Big Ten and the SEC breaking away? And if so, how would you reshape and how would you evaluate the national landscape?
Well, I don't think we're trending that way in terms of a breakaway, like a different NCAA type of structure. But by default right now, we kind of are in that in a sense because they have the biggest TV contracts. They have all the money. They have the top recruiting classes, which then converts into the most NFL draft picks. So, I mean, it's hard to talk through it, but right now they are the 2 power conferences. But in terms of a separate league structure, like a breakaway NCAA, I don't see that happening anytime soon. How would I structure it? Well, I'm a traditionalist. I like to go back in time when we're speaking about college football. I'd rather break it down more into the regional conferences that made this sport great. Bring back an old Big East, the old Pac-10, Pac-12. Because I think regionality is what it's all about. That's why you see some of the most passionate rivalries in the SEC. It's because all these teams are local. They're all driving range. A lot of them. Your coworkers went to the other school, and it's so much better down there. I'm stuck here in the Northeast at the dead zone for college sports because there's no regionality. There's no rivalries up here. So naturally, that fades away the passion over the years. So, anyways, I would go back in time. I would go back to the regional conferences.
All right. And then lastly, last year we saw a school like Indiana shock the country as a dark horse. What's a team you're higher on than most other college football experts, and why for this year?
Well, yeah, to be honest, I don't look at any other publications until I publish mine. So I don't know if I'm high on them or not relatively, but I really like Texas Tech this year out of the Big 12. It's really a big experiment they pulled off in the transfer portal, bringing in 13 4-stars. And to put it into context within the conference, the rest of the Big 12 only had 12. So Texas Tech themselves signed more blue chippers in the whole league. I think that kind of a talent boost is going to help them out in such a wide open conference. It might move the needle a little bit. So I would look at them as a really surprise team. If you aren't paying attention to the recruiting game, they're going to shock some people. But there's so many in that conference. You could talk TCU. I think Utah will be competitive. Baylor is going to be strong. SEC, some sleepers might be Florida and Oklahoma compared to what others have. But there's a lot to like this year from college football. I can't wait to publish this edition, and can't wait for it to kick off in about 50 days.
Brett, I can't wait to get my hands on it, and I can't wait for the season. I wish it was already here. We are 50 days away from, I like to say, week 1. I know week 0 is technically coming up quicker, but week 1 is when it all really starts. And we had Big 12 Media Days this week, at SEC Media Days next week. It's right here. So appreciate you taking the time, and good luck with the rest of your coverage.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
That is the great Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews. Does a phenomenal job covering college football. Hugh, you got to get you a copy. This thing is, I've been getting magazines for, probably since I was 12 years old. And I used to go to the store, pick them up, and started getting the Phil Steele magazine. He's been doing that forever. A lot of that is numbers and analytics, and he takes a big time analytical approach. He's amazing at it as well. But Brett does a very good job of looking at it, from an analysis perspective and throwing in some opinion as well. So I'd get you a copy of that. It's phenomenal.
Do you already have yours, or is it on the way?
No, so the travel starts tomorrow. So I already pre-ordered, because it's either the last year or 2 years ago was my first time getting it. But I got it, and I swear I read up on about every team. Probably not every team, but SEC, Big 12, Big 10, a lot of the power conference teams.
Yeah.
He just does such a good job. A lot of them are hard to read. He does such a good job of making it clear and organized. So any of you out there that haven't gotten it, go pick it up. Pick6previews.com does a phenomenal job. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about you. I liked your question, and Lord knows we've talked about it on this show the last couple of weeks about conference expansion or de-expansion, right? The kicking teams out and teams going down, teams staying where they are. We're going to talk a little bit about that, your question and his answer, and then some of the other answers he gave us. But keep it right here. We're talking more college football on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2025 season. Create a summer of memories at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, and more. Tickets are on sale now.
Two total screw-ups of humongous proportions.
Sports. We're not living in an era where perfection is necessary.
They thought they were a championship contending team.
Here, we told you not to do this. Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We're back. 4:43 is the time on a Friday, a football Friday. Talking a lot of football. We're going to switch to baseball. In the 4 o'clock hour, talk about the MLB draft. We'll have a couple of college pitchers on with us, so stay tuned for that. We'll talk a little bit about life on the Cape, and then we'll take some calls. But I want to wrap this hour up, Hugh, with that first question you asked, Brett. Do you think college football will move to the Power 2 conferences? And like I said, we've talked that, we've beat that horse to a pulp this week. But for me, I still think there's a decent chance that it is a Power 3 as opposed to a Power 2. I say that because the Big 12 has a chance this season to continue to cement themselves as a formidable league. Look, they're not the SEC, they're not the Big 10, and I know a lot of it is talk from guys like Brett Yormark and Deion Sanders at Colorado, and they're trying to uphold the league and what they've been able to do. Last year they didn't do much damage in the playoff. We saw what Arizona State was able to do. That they had to, and Brett's talking about teams like TCU and Texas Tech, who's spending more money than God right now. They got 13, 14 5 stars? Or did he say
I
5?
think he said 4.
Okay.
And I think he said he had like 13, maybe 13 4-stars, and the rest of the conference has 12.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're spending money. That's a big reason why. And we're talking about money here, right? We're talking about Sankey and the SEC having the most money. Petiti in the Big Ten right behind them. The Big 12, I don't think, is as far behind as people think. I don't know. But at the end of the day, also, there could be a merger that happens where you have one league with maybe 22 teams. The Big Ten has 24, and you've got a total of just about 50, right? Or at that point, be over 50. So maybe it is the ultimate power two, but I think the Big 12 has more power than people think. And I think that needs to be remembered here. The ACC is a dying league. Nothing's happened quite yet, but his answer he gave you about the structure too is, maintaining the rivalries and not affecting that part of it as well. That's what I'm scared of. Like, I know Alabama and Auburn are going to keep playing each other.
Yeah.
I know Tennessee and Alabama are going to continue to play. Army, Navy's not going to stop. Oklahoma, Texas isn't going to stop. But what happens when, we've already seen A&M and Texas, they didn't play for over a decade, right? I don't want that to start happening as a snowball effect. Now, if you go to a Big Two, that probably does happen. But that's what I'm worried about. And I also, can't forget about the Big 12. That's what I'll say about it.
Yeah, I think, like you said, the ACC is kind of disappearing, but Clemson's supposed to be pretty good this upcoming year, and Bill Belichick just went to UNC. I'm not saying that they're in the same conversation regarding like SEC and Big 10 and even Big 12, maybe not, but I definitely think there are a few teams that could continue to keep the ACC alive, and maybe you see what Clemson did with Trevor Lawrence there, and who knows? Time will tell, but I don't know. The Big 12 is like Arizona State is they showed promise in the playoffs, but other than that, it sounds like Texas Tech could be dangerous as well, but outside of that, I'm just looking at the conference right now, and I don't see that many teams that they could go toe to toe with. Like, the best of the Big 12 would be middle of Big 10 or SEC, in my opinion, for the most part.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I do think Arizona State is a team that can continue this. I think Sam
Leavitt, I love him.
Sam Leavitt is a really good player. They got a really good receiver in Jordan Tyson, and their head coach Kenny Dillingham is phenomenal.
He turned that program around.
Yeah, I think Arizona State can continue, and with the money Texas Tech is spending, maybe they don't get to the level of a Texas or a Georgia, but I think in the Big 12 they can continue to be at the top. K-State is another team that traditionally is consistently good, but I'm with you in the fact that it feels like a lot of teams are Ole Miss type for this year, right? They're not in that upper echelon of the SEC, but they would be competing in the middle of the pack because it was a really bad bottom of the Big 12. That's what you had. You had sort of a top-heavy league with 4 or 5 solid teams. You didn't have a great or an elite team. But again, I think the Big 12 down the road is a conference to keep an eye on because of, one, the money they're spending, and 2, the sheer amount of teams they have. Who knows, maybe a Houston one off season spends a bunch of Texas Tech-like money and they have a run like Indiana. I think there's just a danger about the Big 12 that you have to keep in mind. But back to the SEC and the ACC. Not ACC. Forget the ACC.
Big 10.
SEC, Big 10.
Yeah.
In the next 5 years, which of those two leagues, in your opinion, Hugh, will have the upper hand? Which league is set up better? Because the last couple of national titles are in the hands of Big 10 teams. Now, you could say that's happenstance. The SEC's won a bunch in the last decade, as we know. But in your opinion, which of those leagues is set up for more success and to maybe – because there's a lot of Big Ten people saying they're going to knock the SEC off the ledge.
Yeah, I mean, going to school in Indiana, I hear all the Big Ten talk. So, but I mean, I grew up in SEC country, so it's I think it'll be very interesting with the new playoff formation, how there's more than 4 teams, and they're going to duke it out. The conference champions are in it, and all that stuff. But I really think that it'll be like in the next upcoming years, I think the point will be made for us of whether like what conference succeeds the other, because I think that there will be at least 3 in both conferences. So I think half of the teams in the playoffs at least are going to be made up out of Big Ten and SEC. So I think in the next 5 years, I think that question about which conference is better, I think that will answer itself, because there's not much you can argue with if the best 3 teams in both conferences are getting in to the playoffs. It's which conference wins and which holds the title, because you can't really complain about about people saying you're not better than the Big Ten if the Big Ten win the next 4 out of 5 years. I mean, it kind of like that argument solves itself. And Ellie, that's just my opinion, but some others might have different thoughts.
I think I would say in turn, I phrased the question as success, set up for success. I think there could be a year where the Big Ten is so top heavy that, the middle to the bottom is such a non-factor that you have a team like this year in the Big Ten, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably going to have a Penn State team in the playoff. You are probably going to have an Ohio State team in the playoff. And after that, potentially, like USC is not in the mix. UCLA is obviously not in the mix. Wisconsin's not in the mix. Is there another run in Indiana, as you like to say? But I think the Big Ten could be so top-heavy that you have a team like this season, for example. You have a team like a Penn State get to the playoff, but their toughest game in conference was Wisconsin, who, as we know, has been mid the last few seasons. Whereas in the SEC, they could still be top-heavy with a Texas and a Georgia and an LSU, but you're playing that second and third tier with Alabama and South Carolina, who I think is going to be really tough this year. Ole Miss, Auburn, who's going to be improved. Brett likes A&M. I'm not as high as he is on A&M, but A&M, we know about the money they're spending. Tennessee's not going to be a pushover. I mean, how do you like to go play Tennessee in Neyland at night, to try to get another SEC win? So I think the depth of the league, to me, Hugh, is what separates it. But the Big Ten, they could have, like this year, they could have the top 2 teams in the country.
Yeah, that's
very well could. But does it hurt them in the playoff where their conference strength of schedule wasn't as good as the SEC?
Yeah, I completely agree with that statement, because am I good? Oh, I froze for a second. Okay. But I think that the SEC is through and through better than the Big Ten. But I think that, as you said, I think that the Big Ten could have the top 2 teams in the country, or I think that the top of the Big Ten could be better than the SEC, but the SEC is just more battle tested. Like, you have to grind. If you are a top 3 team in the SEC, you have played great teams week in and week out, and you have no problem going in to Penn State and trying to win a game, because that's what you've been doing all year. You've been going to the Swamp and playing Florida. You've been going to Athens to visit at Georgia. And I mean, these places are some of the hardest places to play. And I think that the only 2 that compare to that in the Big Ten would be Ohio State and Penn State, especially a night game at Penn State. But I don't think that, like, Indiana's not going in and playing Ohio State like week in and week out. Like, you got SEC teams doing. So I think that gives them the edge, especially in the playoffs.
Randy on YouTube chimes in, says LSU overrated again. Brian Kelly goes back to South Bend. I don't think Notre Dame wants any more Brian Kelly. I think they're just fine with old Marcus Freeman up there in South Bend. We'll have plenty more college football talk all week long next week. Hugh and I will be in Atlanta Monday through Thursday. I'm fired up. Hugh, I know this is your first time going down. We're going to keep the SEC talk going next week, 3 to 5 p.m. Central Time, same time slot. We're going to be taping a bunch of interviews that we will put in the bank and we'll play for weeks on end leading up to the season. But again, we will be live from Atlanta from SEC Media Days, so stay tuned for that. Also, stay tuned for Stat of the Day. I'll be asking Hugh the Stat of the Day question, so buckle up for that, and then we'll talk more baseball at 4 o'clock. So stay tuned. Keep it right here, 94.9 The Fan.
Looking for your favorite sports?
How about sports? You follow sports?
We probably haven't. Just log on to the Information Superhighway. Oh, they don't call it that anymore?
To start, press any key. Where's the any key?
Head to thegamenashville.com.
The password. We're in.
You'll find what time your game starts and what station it's on.
Oh, they have the internet on computers now.
That's what's up. Your sports live here.
What an age we live in.
On the Game Nashville Sports Network. Listen on the air.
So don't tell me to chill out.
On the web at thegamenashville.com.
This team has strategically put themselves back in the mix.
Watch us on YouTube or download the Game Nashville app.
You have to make those plays.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
It only happens once a year, and it's happening now. The Electronic Express Annual Clearance Sale. Save up to 80% on overstocks, demos, closeouts, scratch and dents, and one-of-a-kinds, some brand new in the box. Don't miss these savings at Electronic Express on HD TVs, home theater systems, appliances, computers, and more. But hurry, quantities are limited, and deals this big won't last. Shop the clearance sale at any Electronic Express location today.
This summer, the Legends of the West invite you to the Buffaloville Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming. 5 museums come alive with timeless Western art, heroic tales, and native cultures. Experience live birds of prey, crackling chuck wagon dinners, and behind-the-scenes adventures. Just 50 miles from Yellowstone's East Gate, our doors open wide to explorers young and old. One ticket grants you 2 days, enough time to let curiosity lead the way. Visit centerofthewest.org.
Safe firearms storage saves lives. That's why the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security is offering free cable locks to help Tennesseans secure their firearms. Learn where you can request your free cable lock at safestoretn.com. That's safestoretn.com. Brought to you by the Department of Safety and Homeland Security, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Don't let shoulder or elbow injuries put a dent in your golf game or keep you off the course. The sports medicine experts at Houston Clinic Orthopedics can help you return to playing your best game pain-free. They offer treatment options from physical therapy to injections and, if needed, surgery. Houston Clinic Orthopedics has 8 convenient locations around Middle Tennessee. To experience world-class orthopedic care and to book your appointment, visit tn.houston.com.
Announcing an event for everyone who's been thinking about adopting a lovable little puppy. This is your opportunity to adopt a puppy, and Pella Windows and Doors will cover all your adoption fees and the first immunizations, plus puppy food from Pedigree. It happens Saturday, July 12th at Pella Windows and Doors in Cool Springs on Mallory Station Road. From 10 a.m. to noon, pick out your adorable new puppy on site from the Nashville Humane Association. Saturday, July 12th at Pella Windows and Doors in Cool Springs. See you there.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We are back on a Friday. Hugh is in Nashville. I am reporting live from Knoxville. We've got Mikey, Ebner, Alex Kranzler coming up. A couple of college pitchers with the MLB draft coming up Saturday. We'll talk really all things baseball, whatever Hugh and I got up the pipe. But first, we got a big stat of the day question coming from Mr. Hugh Greenfield. And I am usually the one asking it, so we just kept it. Probably should have been reversed, but we're doing it this way anyway. All right, here we go. Hugh, can you see that?
Yeah, I can.
I all of a sudden am not seeing that. Let's see. There we go. All right, Pete Crow Armstrong is one of 3 players all time to have 25 homers and 25 stolen bases before the All-Star break. Can you name the other 2? You can phone a friend. We've got Mikey here if you want.
I got a few guesses in my head, but I'm going to phone a friend before I say anything that might sound stupid.
Okay, let's bring Mikey Ebner in, pitcher at USC. Mikey, you got anything?
I'm trying to think of it too. I think you're phoning the wrong friend on this one.
Oh God.
I feel like I feel like it's out of our time.
I would agree. That's what I'm trying to think of. I mean, like, did Willie Mays have the pop? I didn't watch him play, but is Willie Mays one of them?
Willie Mays is. Hold on, let me confirm. Keep guessing.
It wasn't a bad guess. All right.
Yeah, it's a pretty good guess.
All right, another one.
Willie Mays is not one of them.
All right.
One of them, I don't know of this guy. The other one, y'all would know who that is.
Kranzler said Bonds, but did he have speed?
Okay, so Bonds is one of them, actually.
Really?
It's correct.
He had 25 stolen bases before the All-Star break?
Or steroids. That's the kicker. With the Pirates, he was stealing bases.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't think he could run like that.
The other one.
You said we're not going to get the other. You have. Wait,
what
did you say about the other one?
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I mean, George would definitely know who this guy is. I don't even remember this guy, but I could be.
All right.
Just give another guess.
Who?
Let me get a team.
Reds.
Oh.
Older.
Recent or a while ago?
While ago.
Oh.
Uh,
Old Reds.
Yep. And not. I don't think he was on the Big Red Machine.
Oh man, I got no shot then.
Yeah, the only name that's coming to my mind is a third baseman, so just might as well.
Yeah,
this
one's tough. So Barry Bonds was correct, but the other one, Eric Davis.
Yeah, no, that was not in the bag.
George,
no, not at all.
George might have hammered that one, but I would have. I don't think I would have had anything right there.
Hugh, you didn't have that one?
No, I didn't know Bonds could run like that. All I know is the stats I read on my phone.
We had some comments saying Barry Bonds, but no Eric Davis. So it looks like the chat was stuck on that one too. But we got stat of the day out of the way. We got Hugh's stressful part of the afternoon out of the way. But we are officially in the 4:00 hour. That is Hugh Greenfield, middle of the screen. Mikey Ebner, USC pitcher, is with us as well. And we're going to bring in Alex Kranzler, Vanderbilt pitcher and intern here for the Plaster Show as well. I feel so weird calling Hugh an intern of the show because he's a pitcher at Vanderbilt. But either way, that's that's what we're working with. But, guys, I appreciate y'all taking the time. With the MLB draft coming up Sunday, I wanted to go a variety of different ways. And Hugh's going to fire away a couple questions as well and just kind of have a free-flowing conversation. But I want to start, Mikey, with you. Hugh told me this is your third year, correct? Are you entering your third year?
Entering my fourth. So I was at SC for 3. So I'm going into my senior year.
Going into your senior year, you've seen the college game change a lot in your time at the collegiate ranks. With the MLB draft where it is right now, and who knows, there may be coaches out there that are fans of it. You might be a fan of it, but is that tough for players that are draft eligible to, that maybe you played in Omaha, you finish your season, maybe you won a national title. All of a sudden, you got to quickly turn your attention to the draft and then quickly play, a month or two of minor league ball. But what is your opinion on where the college baseball timeline sits right now and where the draft sits?
I think it comes down, you got to ask yourself the question of what do you really want for your career? I mean, if you want to go win in Omaha and be a part of a team that's like that and you have that ability and opportunity, then you got to ask yourself, do I want to play professionally now and take the chance of going back to school with the chance of this draft maybe not coming around again? Or do I take my shot now and go and do that and start your professional career? So I think it's definitely different too with NIL and guys getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to stay in college. I think it changes the game a lot because before it was you go back and play for free or you get paid, or now you can stay and get paid and then get paid again. So I think it depends on the person.
Yeah. How much has being able to make more money in college, like baseball, you're not making the level of dollars that a football player might or a basketball player might, but you're still that can really help out a college baseball player, whether it's financial wise, room wise, whatever it might be, that can really help out. How much has that changed the game for you and other players? Because I know you've played on the Cape and you've had conversations with players around the country. How much has that changed the game for you guys? And even for guys, like you said, the decision of that, or taking that next step to the big leagues?
Yeah, I honestly, it changes a lot because you go, when I was in the Cape last summer, you're around guys, and our NIL department at school is strong, but there are other schools that have stronger ones. And just hearing guys say, we have this amount of money or we have this amount of money, and you start comparing a little bit, I think. And so I think it changes the atmosphere of staying loyal to your school or leaving. And it kind of is, do you want to stay with the guys you've been with, or do you want to go chase the money if you had a good year or not? So I think just the loyalty piece of college baseball has kind of changed because you hear these numbers from certain places and it's almost hard to turn it down.
All right, Alex, I want to go to you now. Being in the SEC, we got the whole full spectrum here. We got West Coast with Mikey. We got the Southeast with Alex. With your experience at Vanderbilt, you've had tons of conversations with your teammates. What is your perspective on where the draft lands? I know both of you guys are probably glad it's no longer in regional, super regional weekend. But what is your side of it, Alex? Being in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, from a draft perspective, I haven't put too much thought into that yet. I still got another year before I'm eligible. But I know on the NIL side, I feel like in college sports and especially baseball, kind of makes people lose focus of what the main objective actually is. I think when you go to school, your main goal should be to win a national championship and to develop to try to have a pro career. And at the end of the day, if you're going to make money playing this game, it's going to come at the pro level. I don't think that, whatever the number is in college, unless it's absurd, is really going to make that much of a difference long term.
All right, both you guys played on the Cape. You and that's how you and Mikey both met. And Alex, you've told us about, you're not there this summer, but you've told us about your experience on the Cape. So I'm the odd man out here. So I guess this is for all three of you guys. And Alex, we'll start with you. What was your experience on the Cape like, and how much did that allow you to grow and sort of play free? It's summer ball, right? You're not, your coach isn't the same type of guy, and you may be hearing different things. But what is the difference for you between summer ball at the Cape as opposed to you're playing on the SEC weekend?
Yeah, I'd say the main difference is when you're at school, it's just win is the main objective. You're competing to do that in every game. And when you get to go up to the Cape, I mean, you're still trying to win, don't get me wrong, but you're also, there's might be new pitches or new things in your delivery you're tinkering with along that 2-month period. Like I know last year for me, when I was up there, I was working heavy on trying to get my sinker better. And ultimately I did that, as well as, you know, stay looser in my delivery. And you kind of have a lot more time, especially, you know, in a college season. If you're in the bullpen, you're hot pretty much every game. You got to be ready to go. Whereas in the Cape, you know, you're pitching twice a week maybe. So you have a lot of extra days in between to really hammer and focus down on all the stuff you're working on, and just honestly get to enjoy the rest of the time off in a new spot you haven't been at.
Mikey, sounds like there's a lot of downtime, you know, especially for the pitchers. You know, the hitters, you know, they get to hit every game. But what is life sort of off the field like in the Cape, especially with some of the host families? Alex was telling a funny piece a couple of days ago on the show about, you know, sometimes you don't know what you're allowed to eat depending on what house you're in and those sort of things. So it's probably some learning to do early. But what was life on the Cape like for you?
It was nice. There was a lot of downtime, and I had the privilege of living with Hugh and 2 other guys that were great. So when we had downtime, we'd go golf, we'd go to the beach. We try and enjoy as much as we could. And we got lucky. Our host family, actually, we lived on like a lake. So we had kayaks and canoes and whatever. So we were out on the lake a good amount, and just like spending time with the family too. I think we got pretty lucky with the situation we were in, just making it feel like home the most it could. So I think the day-to-day, the weather's perfect. You can't really go wrong with what you want to do with your day. And there's enough that you can go and explore. And there you have the mornings kind of, and then once you get to the field, you're there for a while. But we definitely, I think, did as much as we could and tried to enjoy the environment we were in.
Hugh, you were on the outsides looking in, not on the field, but from your perspective, what was it like for you and sort of learning along the way? I mean, you got to meet a guy like Mikey. I'm sure you met some other players around the country. We had one of them on the show. But from an outsider's vantage point, what was that like?
It was pretty unbelievable. I felt like a kid in the candy shop for the first week or so that I was there, because I was seeing all these people pitching and playing that I watch on my phone and I watch on the TV and I keep up with, and I'm like, they're real and they're normal people. And when I got the chance to talk to them outside of when they weren't focusing on baseball, it was really interesting, because the only thing they didn't want to talk about was baseball. So it was a really cool way to humanize them and really talk to them as an equal, which you are, just not on the baseball field. But it was a really cool experience especially to live with, I had the opportunity to live with Mikey, and other interns also lived with players, which I think is a really cool thing to bridge the gap. So it's not always baseball for these players, because they play 40 games in 2 months. Is that what it is? I'm pretty something like that, but
I think it's right in that range somewhere.
Yeah, so it was a really cool experience. So I'm very lucky that I got to do it. And the host family that Mikey and I lived with, I don't know if you were on the other day, but Fran, he came on, and George talked to him for a few minutes, but I wouldn't trade that experience for much.
All right, I got one more thing, and then I'll toss to Hugh for a couple questions for Mikey, and then Alex as well. But Alex, I'll start with you. College baseball, I think, has grown a ton in the last 3-4 years. Mikey, you guys are on the doorstep of Omaha. Alex, obviously it didn't go the way you guys wanted, but one more win in a regional. You guys are in a super right there close as well. How have y'all seen the game in college grow? You've got guys like the pencil guy, Jack DeLongchamp, who's, making content. I know he was in Hoover with you guys, Alex, and he was at a preseason tournament. You've got all kinds of different creators around the game now, and ESPN has helped a ton. But Alex, how have you seen it grow, from right when you got on campus?
The first thing that stands out to me is just how many more people know about college baseball. Even me growing up, I didn't really pay much attention to college baseball until I was thinking about playing in it. And I mean, you see like the guys like the Kumar Rockers and the Jack Lighters, like the big name guys. But I feel like now, I guess with NIL too and all the social media, you know almost everybody on every team that's somewhat good. And there's so much coverage, whether it be on, SEC, ACC networks and pretty ESPN, wherever you're at, there's just so much more coverage of the game. And the college game is just at a better like performance than it has been with, faster fastballs, pitchers are bringing better stuff, and then hitters are hitting better. It's at a cool spot.
Mikey, would you second that?
Yeah, I think Alex hit it right on the head. I think it was perfect what he said. I think another thing too, I feel like the major league level has gotten more attention lately with the shortening of games, and just I think the buzz around the major league level has trickled down into college. But yeah, the social media presence I think is the biggest thing. And another thing I've noticed too, I just feel like from when I first got here to now, like there are freshmen that come in that are unbelievable, and they've always been there, but I feel like just the level of play is increased, and it's just getting harder and harder to play at this level. So just watching that and seeing these freshmen go out and do things that I didn't remember from 2 years ago it's really cool.
You.
All right, so Mikey, we talked about this a little off the air, but I was at the game where you had tore your UCL and you had to get Tommy John. So, and then I kept up with the USC team throughout the season, and then when it got to the postseason, the regionals, you guys were a 3 seed, and you were in the Corvallis regional with Oregon State. You didn't have to play in first round; you got to play TCU, right?
Yeah.
And so you beat TCU, and you assume that you're going to be playing Oregon State, but then they lose to St. Mary's. Walk me through like what the mindset for you was, especially not being able to contribute to your team's success, and kind of like how the energy in the dugout and like the team's mentality and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I remember we were sitting watching the the Oregon State St. Mary's game in Oregon State's cages waiting to play, and we were dead set on playing Oregon State. We're like, there's no way. And then St. Mary's wins, and I just remember because I couldn't really do much. I was just trying to remind the guys that we're all super excited that we weren't playing Oregon State, that it's like St. Mary's is here for a reason and they're winning baseball games. So I think the biggest thing was just making people understand that anyone can win on any day, and you see that all over the place. Like it's pretty impressive. And I think just my role in that trip that whole weekend was just make sure the guys understand that anyone can win on any day. And when we came in and Oregon State beat us good the first time and it came down to that final game, it just trying to make sure guys flipped the switch, whether we won or we lost. It was, we got to show up today and we got to show up now, or else we'll be getting home on a sad plane ride back to Los Angeles, which ended up happening. But it's all part of it. I think it was just like a time for me to realize like I can be a leader right now, which is something that I almost felt like I got away from when I got hurt because it was hard to do that. But then I was like, this is where I can step up and really hold a role for the guys.
Yeah. And so then for both of you, I guess Alex first, how would you say, or how would you, what would you say that the Cape and be performing in front of those scouts and all of like the like underlying tone of pressure in the Cape, how would you say that has transferred to college and your game as a whole? And yeah.
Yeah, I'd say anytime, whether it be fans, scouts, anybody really, that can put any sort of pressure on you throwing, it's always good to have, because at the end of the day, if you're going to get to the level you want to go at, there's going to be a ton of pressure from a bunch of people, and being able to figure out how to separate that and be able to just focus on your job, every pitch, which is just executing a pitch one at a time. If you can just do that and kind of blur out the people around you, you end up doing your job a lot better. So it's just another way to help train that through a different lens.
And then, at least for Mikey, I know you started your season off pretty hot in the Cape. I think it was your first 11 innings. You went with no hits given up. So what was that like going onto the mound after that each and every inning, knowing that in the back of your mind? And like how did you continue to produce at a high level?
I think exactly what Alex said. I liked what he said, where you get back to doing your job of just executing each pitch. I tried to simplify as much as I could and realized that after you throw a pitch, you can't go back to it. So I think I just got in the groove of really realizing that every single time I threw a baseball, it was a new opportunity to see what happened. Like it was either a strike, a ball, the guy hit it or not. And I just tried to simplify it as much as I could before I got caught up in the stats. Because it's always, everyone loves looking at them, but it's easy to get. It's another added pressure that will not help you.
Yeah, it can definitely get lonely up on that mound.
Mikey, this is a treat, man. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know with the draft coming up, I know you guys will be tuned in out west. A lot of talent out there that you've faced. I got to ask you this: Do you know of anybody that will go in the first round that you faced, or could go in the first round that you're like, hey, this kid's going to be legit?
There are a couple that this past summer they're on our team. I think Devin Taylor's in that mix from Hughes, Indiana. He's a guy that you should look out for. And I think Brandon Compton is another guy, Arizona State hitter that could sneak into the first round that no one's really thinking about. But there's a lot of talent. It's impressive. Every time you step on the field, you're like, whoa, those guys are good. So
yeah, it was cool. I feel like there was a West Coast resurgence a little bit this year with a really good Irvine team. You mentioned St. Mary's, obviously USC. Saw what UCLA did with all the talent they have. So really appreciate you taking the time. Good luck with your off season. And are you still on the Cape?
No, me?
Yeah, you're not there this summer.
No,
right?
I'm back. I'm rehabbing at home this summer, so I'm back at home.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. Well, good luck, sir. Appreciate the time.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you guys. Really pleasure.
That was the great Mikey Ebner, one of Hughes' good friends. Met out on the Cape and talking a little college baseball, a little MLB draft. We're going to keep a little bit of that going. Alex is going to stick with us. Hughes is going to stick with us. We're going to take a few calls if you guys got them. If you want to keep talking football, Alex and Hugh can do a little bit of that as well. We'll talk baseball as well if you want to. We got Summer League going on, Wimbledon, whatever you want to talk about. Fire away. Number 615-553-0933. Again, that's 615-553-0933. The chat has been buzzing all day, so we can take some chat comments and questions as well, courtesy of some of Hughes' friends. So we'll keep that rolling, but keep it right here as well. We got your phones and more sports talk coming up. 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Are you ready to begin? Trevecca Nazarene University. From calling to becoming.
I trained my entire life to be the best. I was one of the fastest women in the entire country. But woke politics made me swim against a man, sharing the pool and the locker room. That's not just dangerous, it's degrading. Thank God for Marsha Blackburn. No one fights harder to protect us. Marsha Blackburn will always stand for strong women, because she's one of us.
I'm Marsha Blackburn, and I approve this message.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Password. We're in.
You'll find what time your game starts and what station it's on.
Oh, they have the internet on computers now.
That's what's up. Your sports live here.
What an age we live in.
On the Game Nashville Sports Network.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Mm-hmm. 94.9 Fan alongside Hugh Greenfield and Vanderbilt pitcher Alex Kranzler with us as well. Guys, we got some calls to take. It's going to be a test for the young guns here on the set. We'll see how we do. We got 4 on the line, so loaded lines. We're going to kick it all off with Tony in Nolensville. Tony, how you doing?
Hello, Billy, and whatever George is doing today, I hope he's enjoying the day. I actually took a snapshot of y'all on the TV. I sent it to him. I said, look here, 4 serious young men and also the ball cap brigade. Everybody's got a ball cap on. I love it.
That's how we roll.
It's pretty good. I've even had people tell me one time, guys, that they said, I didn't know what you looked like without a ball cap. So I wear one every day. Been doing it for a long time. Billy, I knew the answer to the quiz. I happened to hear that same stat last night, yesterday with PCA when he hit 2 home runs yesterday, and now he's got the 25-25. So that was a pretty good stat. So
yeah, it's really insane. Hugh's a big Cubs guy. We've been talking about PCA the last couple of weeks. It's unbelievable what he's been doing.
Right, and I'm a big Cubs guy, and Hugh, if you heard me call in, I'm a big Cubs guy, and always talking to Danny about the Cubs. Guys, 2 things I'm going to throw out there at you. One, go back to the football, and then I'm going to say one thing about. I'm going to put all of you on the spot. I've got a good question for you. But back to the football, and I sent in the thing. I don't know if it come through, Billy, on Facebook, but talking about the breakdown of the ACC, when you hear that, there's nobody. I don't think the Big Ten or the SEC really wants anybody from the ACC. Florida State had their chance to join the SEC years ago, and Bobby Bowden and them turned it down. Didn't want to do it. So I don't think the Big Ten or the SEC would really care to have anybody from the ACC. Now, the Big 12 might take somebody, but then you're going to have the same. We've talked before about the long-distance travel. So that's something that, y'all might want to touch on, that nobody wants a Clemson or Florida State or somebody of that nature. The baseball question I've got to throw out there, and you'll love this. The Yankees, of course, we all know, have won all the titles. This weekend they play the Cubbies. Who do y'all think across this country is a favorite team, the most favorite team? The Cubs or the Yankees? Could it be possibly the Dodgers? But I want y'all to discuss that and what y'all think. Every time I watch a Cubs game, it seems there's as many Cubs fans at a ball game, no matter where they're at, as it is as who they're playing. So I want y'all to touch on that, because I think it's a good question. Who has the strongest following, and who's the most popular? Guys, good show, young man. Really enjoyed it. Alex, I'm a Vandy fan. I'm a season ticket holder. and been a long time a Vandy Boy season ticket holder for about 20-something, 27, 28 years. So I love watching you pitch. Keep up the good work. We love you. See you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. That was awesome. Funny you ask about the Cubs or the Yankees, the more powerful fan base, the more fans of the country. I think it's a good question. Hugh is a Cubbies fan. Alex is the Yankee fan. I think it's the Yankees. I think, I had a friend growing up, born and raised in Nashville. His dad happened to be a Yankee fan. I'm like,
Bill, I don't know about you, Alex, but I'm losing you a little, Billy.
Yeah, me too.
oh, crap. You got me?
Like I know what you're saying, but it's really muffled.
Dang. Okay, I'll try to leave and then hop
We're
back.
back. We're back.
I don't know how much you got what I said there, but I think it's the Yankees. I just mentioned how growing up, I had all these friends, their dads happen to be Yankee fans, and I was always so confused. But there's so much power in the Yankee brand. But Cubs are right behind. I go Yankee. I don't know where you guys would go.
I mean, it's hard not to say the team that you root for, but I don't know. I think it kind of boils down to I don't know exactly what the TV rights were like back when my parents were my age, because I know that the Cubs were one of few teams that were nationally televised. So I think that it might stem from that a little bit, that there were only a few teams that were able to be watched on national television. So there was only like 4 teams or 5 teams that people really cared about because that's all they could watch. And I don't know, but I'm going to go with Cubs because I can't not go with the Cubs, but I think it's pretty close.
I think it's definitely the Yankees. I mean, they're one of very few teams you could be anywhere in the country and somebody could easily be wearing a hat or a jersey of. I think, honestly, the Cubs are definitely up there, but I wouldn't put them at second. I think the Dodgers are in as second, especially because since they used to be in Brooklyn, they kind of cover the whole country. But I will say this, growing up right near New York City, there were a few Cubs fans. So definitely a little bit of presence near New York.
Yeah. We travel.
Let's go to Mike in Melrose. I know he's going to want to talk some baseball. Mike, what's going on?
Hey guys, well that's a great question. My dad is Larry Smitto. He coached at Vanderbilt and he started the Nashville Sounds. I grew up a big Yankees fan. Then my dad worked for the Rangers, so now I'm a Rangers fan. I want to go back to your trivia question. So Eric Davis was a great player for the Reds. A crazy story about him, you might want to look up, in 1990 in the World Series, he got hurt. And supposedly the owner, Marge Schott, did not pay for his flight back home. Made him pay for it, $15,000 flight. And then what was the other one, Bobby Bonds or Barry Bonds? So Bobby, his dad Bobby, he's actually in that song Talking Baseball.
I think you got us here, Mike.
Bobby
It was actually Bobby Bonds. That's on me. That's administrative error right there, because we had somebody in the chat too talking about Bobby Bonds, and I was like, what are they talking about? But you're right on that. I just got fact checked.
Well, the last thing, what do y'all think about? And my dad thinks they should all be in. Bonds, McGuire, Clemens. Should they all be in the Hall of Fame? Because that was what happened that during that time. Most of the players were doing that. Do y'all agree or disagree?
The age-old question. I disagree. I don't think they deserve it because, yes, a lot of them were doing it, but baseball has an honor code that you cannot use performance-enhancing drugs, and Danny Evans is staunchly opposed to anything that goes against sort of that honor code, the unwritten rules of baseball, and I like Danny's stance on that type of stuff. And Kelly and George, when I know you talked about steroids, but they were guys that thought Pete Rose, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, especially now that he's passed. Danny's still staunchly against it. So it's kind of the old school baseball way. Hugh, I don't think they deserve it. Y'all may disagree.
I'm gonna agree with you on there. If you don't play the right way, don't play. But however, at the same time, I do think that they deserve to be recognized for some of the incredible feats that they did. But I don't think that the way of doing that is to put them in the Hall of Fame. I don't have a solution for that, but I think that there's a way to congratulate them and show their prowess besides putting them in the Hall of Fame.
But what about the players that were taking greenies back in the day? They were taking greenies, and it wasn't illegal. They weren't breaking the rules.
What's a grinny?
It's a power pill, amphetamines.
Yeah, look, I don't know.
It.
But isn't steroid? Look, there's all kinds of players that will walk that line and test the system and won't get caught and probably are in the Hall that have some secrets. But I don't know. I'll always be on the stance, Alex, that whether it's a grinny, which I've never heard of, or steroids, if you get caught, you're not in.
It wasn't against the rules, though. It wasn't.
It wasn't against the rules at the time, Mike is saying. This is true. But it is now.
I take the other side. I think that they should be in. I mean, I think even though they did cheat and it wasn't against the rules then, but it is now. I mean, you still got to hit a baseball and you still got to pitch a baseball. I mean, you could be, the strongest dude ever. You still got to be able to produce. And I also think, they got to keep it consistent. If you're going to keep all those guys out, you can't be putting in David Ortiz on the first ballot when he tested positive for PEDs when they were illegal. I mean, I think a lot of it too is just a lot of those guys are just not very well liked. And I don't think that should be a real reason to keep guys out, especially if you're going to put guys that have done it in.
Kelly just texted me, said, still got to hit the ball, homie. 85% of the league was cheating. I mean, all right, let's let everybody in then. Everybody gets a chance at the Hall. I mean, there's got to be a line somewhere, or else it's going to be a free for all.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we could talk about this for a very long time.
Mike, I don't know if you're still there, but appreciate the call. That was an insightful question. Okay, I think Mike dropped. Let's get to Jeff before the break, and then Titans, Bill, and George. Hang with us. We've had loaded lines all day. Titans, Bill, and George, hang with us. I'm going to get to Jeff in the borough before the break. Jeff, how you doing?
Pretty good. I just want to say I don't think Pete Rose belongs in at all. The other guys won't because, like I said, nobody likes him. But Pete Rose doesn't belong in at all. Grammy hits he's got. I don't care if he had 5,000, 6,000. When you cheat like he did, bet on baseball. No, never. I don't care. Two things I want to tell you guys, not baseball, but there's a bill right now in the state of Michigan legislature that if it passes, they were voting on, I believe, right now, both houses, I assume, there's that legislature. If the governor signs a Whitmer's or Governor Greg Whitmer, it's going to make athletes in the state of Michigan at their colleges wants to make them employees at their state, the college, all the colleges in Michigan. Okay. And the number two thing I want to say is I know this SEC media don't talk about. There's a guy, Kelly Holcomb knows this guy, played at Georgia Southern. His name's Tracy Hames, the quarterback, played in the 80s. Didn't play when Kelly played, but he had an offense. It was called the ham bone. Georgia Southern football player. Won one AA titles back in the day, 85, 86. Okay, he's working at Georgia Southern. He's working there in administration. Been there about 14, 15 years. Played in the CFL. Got drafted in the NFL. They wanted him to be another position. He wanted to be a quarterback. Told heck no. Wanted to Canada. Probably about 10, 11 years. More of the story is he was doing some games a few years ago for Georgia Southern. Not just a color or play-by-play color and the analysis for him. And he was announcing them. And he said, and he was like a homer, always we and us. And everybody does these days is homer, go, team, go, and all this stuff. Well, Georgia Southern fired him. Said, get the heck out of here. We ain't going to fool with you. Get the heck out. We don't want this homer stuff. And Billy, I know he likes the homer and go baby, go, and all this stuff. And I told you, Billy, about Kaywood Ledford. That's why Kentucky fans liked him. He was a legend. He wasn't a homer. He bowled like he was.
Yep.
So what's your comments on it, Bill? What do you think? What do you think about Georgia Southern firing him? What do you think about that?
Well, look, when did that happen? I think Jeff just hung up. Jeff Kelly wanted me to tell you that it was Tracy Ham was his name. But I think if you're the team's broadcaster, you should show some passion. There's a line, you can't be an overly ridiculous homer. But look, I mean, Alex, you throw a perfect game and you go back and listen to the highlights. It'd be pretty cool to clip it up and your broadcaster's like going nuts. Like I think with the college, at the college level and the big league level, and you're calling the team's games that you're assigned to, I think there's a certain homer level you can get to, but there's a line, and you gotta maintain respect. But yeah, well, maybe we'll talk more about that down the line. We got 2 more callers to get to, but first we're gonna hit a break. Titans Bill and George in Boston. Stay right with us here on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2025 season. Create a summer of memories at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, and more. Tickets are on sale now.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
A lot of people want to define teams by singular performances.
Sports. Did he not go back into the game after that interception?
Let's get this turned around. And we're all saying, no, they don't.
Here.
You thought you were on your way.
Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We're back. 5:43 time here on 94.9 The Fan. We're keeping the phone calls rolling. Really good Friday, full of phone calls. Appreciate everybody chiming in. We even got a few comments I saved, so if we got time, we'll check some of those out. But let's get to Titans Bill. Titans Bill, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing just wonderful, thank you. I would say this: I would go on and trade Treylon Burks to the Raiders. I've been reading. There's a rumor that could happen. And it wouldn't hurt for them to maybe get some late rounds for him.
I wouldn't mind that at all, Titans Bill. He hasn't done really much at all. He hasn't been healthy, and he's had his chances. He's had opportunities to be healthy. He that Steelers game where he had that big catch, I thought that was that could have been a coming out party for him, but of course he slams his helmet into the ground and gets concussed and hasn't seen the field since. So you really hate it for him, but it's a business, and I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah, I don't think that I don't think that the Titans would miss him all that much. I think that it could be beneficial because I'm of the opinion that he will not be of help to us in the future. At least that's my take on it. But I think it doesn't hurt because what there's nothing to lose. Like if somebody's not going to help you, then get rid of him and see what you can get back.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat too. I agree. I don't think that they'll miss him very much.
I think we may have lost Titans-Bill. We've had a little bit of trouble with Titans-Bill's connection, and I hate it because I want to take Titans-Bill's calls, but we gotta get something sorted out with his connection. Maybe we'll get Bill back in the fold. But in the meantime, let's get to George in Boston. George, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Billy? How you guys doing?
Doing good. How's everything up in Boston?
It's pretty good. I had a quick comment about the whole steroid thing with the Hall of Fame, and then I wanted to talk a little Cape League baseball with you guys.
Let's do it.
With respect to the Hall of Fame, I think that there are some people who are in the Hall of Fame who used steroids and didn't get caught. One example, and Billy, you'll have to ask him about this the next time he's on the show when Danny Evans comes on. I think Tony Gwynn, towards the end of his career, did steroids. And that may shock some people, but if you look on baseballreference.com, 3 of the last 5 seasons of his career, when he started to have knee problems and was pretty old, Gwynn hit 10 or more home runs. And the reason I think he did roids was because up to that point, he had only done it twice in his entire big league career, spanning over multiple decades. And I think Alex's point that he had made earlier, I think the best players from that era were the best players, and they shouldn't be punished. And I think it's a little disingenuous that some of these baseball writers and the Baseball Writers Association made all this money off of book deals, and then these same writers are keeping these guys out of the hall. That doesn't seem fair for me, to me. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little Cape League baseball with you guys. So, as you guys might not know, I am a Vandy alum, graduated 2013. Before my senior year, in the summer of 2012, I had an internship with the Chatham Anglers and got to be their beat writer, manage their website and social media for the summer. It's one of the best summers of my life. And just getting to see Cape League baseball was awesome. Kyle Schwarber and Aaron Judge were on the Cape that summer. Got to see them both play up close. That was pretty unreal. Got to talk to legendary Cape League manager John Schiffner on a daily basis. John Schiffner, for those who don't know, helped develop 3 very good big league third basemen in Mike Lowell, Evan Longoria, and Chris Bryant. And I was curious, especially for Alex and Hugh, I believe, kind of what are some of your biggest memories and takeaways from being on the Cape, and what are some things that you really liked about it during your time there?
I guess I'll go first. I wasn't a player. I was an intern. So I thought it was really cool just being immersed into an entirely different world, pretty much. I'm born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. So going up to the Cape for a summer was a little bit different for me. And it was very calm and peaceful up there. I really enjoyed that aspect. And I mean, watching baseball pretty much every day, like what beats that? At least for me, summer league baseball. I mean, you got fans it's free to go to the games. It's just a great environment to be around. And I got to live with players. I got to meet players that will be most likely MLB players and could be great MLB players one day. Who knows? But I was very grateful for the opportunity to go up there and just enjoy everything that it gave me, to the beaches, to the games, to the quality time with my host family. I mean, yeah, it was truly special.
For sure.
Yeah,
What team were you with?
I was with the Katuitt Cavaliers.
Oh, hell yeah. That's an awesome field. That field is something out of Field of Dreams.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Grant?
Yeah, for me, I was up at with the Orleans Firebirds, and a couple things that like stood out of just the history of that league and learning a bunch of stuff was our pitching coach, Jim Lawler. He's been a pitching coach for 40 plus years, was at Texas A&M for a while. So being able to be with that guy on a day-to-day basis, he always had like little simple tips that just went a long way, as well as, just being around a bunch of players that are very good at what they do from all around the country. I mean, one of my best friends up at Orleans was this kid that played at Gonzaga, and being able to pick his brain and all the other guys' brains on my team was just you're just constantly learning from people that are really good at what they do. And then as just a fan of baseball, as long as playing with it, you get to see some of the best guys in the country. I mean, Rock Chalowski, UCLA shortstop, was on Orleans last year, and getting to see that dude go about his day-to-day process was just unbelievable. And then to see him play how he did this year, it was just cool to see like what goes into that. And then kind of to what Hugh was saying with the area. I mean, everybody in that area knows Cape League baseball. I mean, I'd be going to diners and restaurants and just have people coming up to me, just talking baseball and talking about the Cape League. And it's just a really cool experience all around.
Another thing that I forgot to mention was, I think, another really cool part of what the Cape League is about is that it's, at least from what I seen or saw, it was all, there was no profit involved. Like, it's free to go to the games. I mean, players are paying their host families to be there and play there. So it's really just like you gotta really truly love the game to be up there and play in it and work up there and just be around it. Like, you got people just happy to be there, and I think it's really awesome.
One more note and a question for you, Alex. Jim Lawler, is there a relation to Jordan Lawler, former Vandy commit?
No, not at all.
Okay, I was wondering. That's a rare last name. I had to get that question out there. George, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I know you knew Jordan Lawler. I was wondering about that, but I sometimes it doesn't connect.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, Hugh, with Katuitt, when you were there, I believe Mike Roberts was still there. I mean, for those who know Vandy baseball well, Mike Roberts, you want to talk about the Vanderbunt on steroids and just guys bunting and wreaking havoc on the base paths. One of the most fun styles of baseball to watch. The summer I was there, Rhett Wiseman and Tony Kemp were playing for Katuitt, and it was awesome just getting to meet Tony Kemp. I got to talk to him before a game when I was doing some pregame interviews, and seeing them both play was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a special place up there. But that field of the field in Katuitt, Lowell Park, if you for the listeners that don't know what we're talking about, if you look up Lowell Park Cape Cod Baseball League, you will see one of the prettiest and most awesome fields that I've ever been to, and at least that I've seen. I mean, it's surrounded by trees, and then you can see the water in the distance, and it's truly special. It does look like something out of a movie and out of Field of Dreams.
George, appreciate the call, brother.
Oh, always, Billy. Take care. Be well, gentlemen.
Thank you.
That's a Red Sox fan right there, by the way, Alex. How do you feel about that?
Is what it is. They got a lot more winning to do to catch up.
Put the swords down.
How are you feeling about the Yankees? Are they getting off the schneid a little bit?
I felt for the past probably 7 years they never have the pitching to do it. And I mean, Fried's been awesome, Rodon's been pretty good, but that's not going to get you all the way, in my opinion.
and it's definitely not going to get the Cubs this weekend.
We'll see. Bats can go win a series. I don't know about a World Series though. Need pitching.
That is true. Absolutely.
Tony on Facebook, great to hear a caller from Boston named George agreeing with a Vandy boy that likes the Yankees. Love it. Love it. All right, we got to get to one more break and then bets of the day. We may just all three fire away our own bets. I know George has a bet for tonight / this weekend, and mine might involve Wimbledon. So we'll see. But we'll get one more break in here and then wrap things up here on 94.9 The Fan.
Looking for your favorite sports?
How about sports? You follow sports?
We probably have it. Just log on to the Information Superhighway. Oh, they don't call it that anymore?
To start, press any key. Where's the any key?
Head to thegamenashville.com.
The password. We're in.
You'll find what time your game starts and what station it's on.
Oh, they have the internet on computers now.
That's what's up. Your sports live here.
What an age we live in.
On the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Welcome to Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel, where every dish tells the story of Southern tradition and culinary excellence. Dive into our enhanced menu, featuring delights like the legendary biscuit bar and freshly revamped dishes that bring the farm straight to your fork. Perfect for a leisurely breakfast or a hearty lunch. We're open every day, ready to treat you to a meal that feels like home. Experience the refreshed feel at Kitchen Notes inside the Omni Nashville Hotel, where every bite is a note in Nashville's symphony of flavors.
The Electronic Express summer clearance sale is going on now.
No prime?
No problem. Shop local and save up to 80% off clearance items. Don't miss these deals on smart TVs, major appliances, computers, washers, dryers, and more. All from your trusted local source for over 40 years. Expert support, 24 months free financing, and free delivery? We've got that too. Hurry, sale ends Sunday, and quantities are limited. Shop in store or electronicexpress.com.
Best Friends Animal Society is working to ensure that every dog and cat in the country has a safe place to call home. Home. Just like Superman, you can use your power for good. Join us. Visit bestfriends.org to adopt an out-of-this-world pet near you. Together, we will save them all.
Game day is not the same without your crew, your grill, and the boldest four in the game. Black Sheep Tequila, Nashville born, crafted by local rebel and a master from Jalisco, Mexico. Pure agave aged in Tennessee whiskey barrels. Old world craft for modern legends. Available at top bars and retailers. Make your next kickoff unforgettable. I am a Black Sheep. Drink like an original. Best in world tequila. Follow at blacksheeptequila.com. Must be 21 and over. Please drink responsibly.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Final segment on a Friday. Time now to review George's picks from last night with Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury. Oh, we take a look, gentlemen, at what happened for George. He got a win with the Cardinals. Minus 140. Worked out. So he's one game above 500. It's early. Very early in the new season of Bet of the Day. So George got a win last night. And he has one pick, and that is tonight's game between Boston and Tampa Bay. He's taken the Red Sox minus 110 over the Rays tonight. So the Red Sox, we were just talking about, I'm going to have to pick it up a little bit if they want to compete there in that American League. So that's George's. Let's throw one out for us three to wrap up the show. I'm going to go Wimbledon. Bet of the weekend. This is tomorrow, right, Hugh?
No, it's Sunday.
Okay, Sunday. Alcaraz, Sinner. 1 versus 2. Who won the last one, Hugh?
Alcaraz, he's 5-0 against Sinner in his last 5, and he's 5-0 in Grand Slam finals.
Give me Sinner. I'm going Jannik Sinner to win Wimbledon. I've been going out on a limb the last couple times, and if I change it now, I already know that's going to backfire. So, I'm
does
going on a limb again.
Does that have anything to do with you losing money on
potentially?
Okay. I am gonna go the Miami Marlins beating the Orioles.
Okay.
It'd be too easy to say Tarek Skubal and the Tigers. So we're gonna go with an even money play, the Miami Marlins.
Okay. Alex, anything from you?
I'm not allowed a sports bet, but if I were, I'd be going with the Blue Jays over the Athletics. Big Scherzer fan. I know he's not what he once was, but I think he's still got some left in the tank. So I'd take that bet.
I would too. Everything's going to hit this weekend. It's going to be a good luck charm. Got George's pick out there. Boys, good show today. Alex, thanks for joining us for the 4 o'clock hour. That was awesome. Hugh, good work today, especially with the update. And thanks to all the callers, every guest we had on, saying so long. Have a good weekend, everybody, for 94.9 The Fan.